No,
All right, everybody, we are live. It is the Sons of Montezuma. We are back. The Aztecs 2024-2025 season is over, officially done. We are in the off season, and it is time for all of us to get in the portal. So we're all going to get in there right now together. But first, we got to live through this. You got to feel the pain. You got to remember the pain, because it's through that pain gonna get the pleasure, right? Gonna get the pleasure. We'll be back in just a second. Stick with us.
Make sure they run the second and third options against San Diego State. Cadeau lets it fly and hits. The Tar Heels holding a 4-point lead. This is Davis, pulls up, buries it.
Wants to play, and I'm not sure it's to their advantage.
Into the corner, Powell with a three-point answer. Free throw numbers key, 9 straight points.
Four shots that we've seen North Carolina take.
Wow. It was wild, and finally it's Bird. The freshman out of Aurora, Illinois. Jackson takes it in. Why not?
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Why not? The way this
quickly start to begin their preparations for Ole Miss on Thursday in Milwaukee. Dante Mayo Jr. get into the party here. Final seconds. There's a three. So Cam Lewine with that last second three, and it is over.
We tip our hats to them. Obviously, we wish we'd have given them more of a game, but we hang our hat on our defense, and we couldn't get stops. Really happy for the season we had, but obviously disappointed in the way we finished it.
We're going to feel it throughout the summer. We got punked, they whooped our butts, and, I mean, if you don't come to the summer ready to work, you don't really love the game. So I think this is something, we could definitely grow from and rally around and just take to the summer with us, and hopefully be back here next year.
4 minutes left, here the show's still going strong. We game time ready. Opponents can't sleep when they leave. No Freddy, it's the Aztecs in the house tonight. Hoop squad on deck. Who's next to fight? We need a three. So who's your bet? Coach looking down.
Well, here we are, guys. Welcome back to another Sons of Montezuma episode. The 2024-25 men's basketball season is now over for San Diego State, and it was an unceremonious ending to an otherwise exciting year for the young team. Next up, we enter into the abyss of the offseason, which means watching the rest of March Madness unfold, hearing about player declarations to the NBA and the transfer portal. That's one. Oh, joy. So I got my guys joining me. East County to East Tahoe. You guys know him. He's waving at the camera. Happy to see him. What's going on, Mike?
what's up, guys? Back after a tough loss, but now we're in the off season, and you know that this is the rallying call for next year. Aztec death whistle.
That see, it was so high. It was so high. Only real Aztec warriors could hear it. 'Cause
Yes.
I could hear it.
I'm an Aztec warrior.
Yeah.
Ah!
It's funny because Carlos just texted me. He's like, "Hey, what was that?"
All the way in San Diego, yes.
Yeah.
Well, you cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him, even in the off season. He's always in season, and that is, of course. What's up?
There's only one Aztec death whistle, the Fiend Aztec death whistle.
Ain't that right? Ain't that right? What's going on, boys? It's good to see you guys. It's nice to see you guys smiling and feeling as good as we can under circumstances, right? We haven't recorded, man, in maybe about a week or so, a little over a week. I mean, everybody knows the Aztecs went out against North Carolina. You guys saw the highlights. It was bad. There's no way around it. It was a crushing way to end the season. I know I needed some time away just to how do you say, process the way it went down, process the season, and then smack dab before you know it, we're in the transfer portal. I mean, before the portal even officially opened, people weren't in it. I mean, there's guys that are still playing in the tournament right now, and their names are out there. So it's a wild time right now. But you know, hey, I said it before. I put a video out, you know, after the game. A bunch of us were down at McGregor's watching the game, and after it, we all powwowed together and just, you know, just had to misery loves company, right? And I'm glad I had all my people, all my crew there with me. You know, shout out to everybody who came out that night and endured. And then it's just another wave of just a kick in the nuts. I mean, Nick Boyd declaring for the transfer portal. Magoon Guath, kind of as expected, right? But what do you say? What do you do? I mean, we're at this point, Mike. You're watching from up there. We're down here in San Diego. No matter where you are, Aztec Nation, near or far, you're feeling it. We're not used to this. If you're listening to this while jogging or doing errands, or maybe you're at work, you know, putting us on, we appreciate you guys joining. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. But this is the end of a season, Mike. We're in the off season. The roster is up in the air. How do you put a bow on what we just went through with the team and rooting them on?
To wrap up the season. Not even talking about the portal. Hell of a year, man. 21-10. Yeah, we kind of slid at the end there, but we got to 21 wins again, 8 years in a row. We got to the tournament again, 5th year in a row. Probably should have been 6, obviously, with, you know, the COVID year, but with a team of this caliber, yeah, you didn't end the way you wanted to with 2 losses to Boise and North Carolina, but you still accomplished your ultimate goal of getting to the NCAA tournament. Even though you didn't win a game, these guys got more experience and got to play. And, you know, I don't think anybody really knew what to expect with this team like they did the last few years. You know, the last few years were like, okay, we have an idea what we're going to do, right? This year we had no idea it could be the way, but they still got to 21 wins in this kind of tournament, and then they beat some good teams. And you know, I wouldn't say I'm happy with the end result, but I'm proud of our guys for what they did, what they went through, what they accomplished, and they stuck together with all the trials and tribulations they had to go through this year.
Okay, how about you, Fiend? How you feeling, man?
Yeah, no, I think that's well said by Mike. I totally agree. You know, this year, with everything that we went through, Reese's injury, you know, Magoon going down, all the transfers, the young guys that were having to play, you know, I think beginning of the season, we felt that if we just made the tournament, that would be a successful season. And so mission accomplished. You know, what really, I think, got people's expectations up was how well we played in November, which as a team, we normally do not play as well in November as we do in March. But we played our best basketball season in November, no doubt. We were a top 25 team, basically, in all the metrics. And then after, for whatever reason, you know, we started to slide throughout the year, and it just kind of, you know, got worse and worse. We were really lucky to get in the tournament. If the committee had based it on predictive metrics that, we wouldn't have gotten in, but because of our resume and what we did in November, we earned that spot. So mission accomplished. We got to the tournament. I'm very proud. These guys are so young, and they've learned a hell of a lot this year, and hopefully we get to keep them to so that they've gone through the growing pains, and now we can reap the success next year of that experience that they've gained.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I hear you when you say the beginning of the season, right, was front loaded. Out of conference was super difficult, top 10 strength of schedule, all that good stuff, and they came out showing flashes of, man, just brilliance for such a young, talented team without Reese. Look at what you're saying, and it created this expectation for the rest of the conference year. Little did we know, Colorado State caught fire. Boise's always tough, which we beat twice, which never happens twice in a season, right? Also lost twice to UNLV, which never happens. Struggled with Air Force, struggled with San Jose State, which seems to happen when we wear the red, all that stuff. But, there were ups and downs, injuries, nagging injuries, peaks and valleys, all that good stuff. But you can't ignore that they regressed. They didn't get better as the season went on. And that's not just due to Magoon's injury. Guat's injury against Utah State was at the most inopportune time of the season, towards the end, and it put the postseason at jeopardy, right? But even before that, I mean, the team they were not hitting. Offensively, especially, it just wasn't matching up with what they were doing early. I don't have the answers for that. I have my theories. I'm sure both of you guys have your theories as well. I don't have all the answers, but all you can judge off of is the reality. And the reality says that we were not playing our best basketball coming into this North Carolina game. Going into the Mountain West tournament, I mean, the offense just went completely anemic against Boise. You get this second chance at life, making the first four in against North Carolina. And even though we caused some turnovers early on them to start the game, I mean, you guys saw the highlights, how many three-pointers in a row. They were just unconscious. And I tried to add those highlights, those specific ones, where like even their freshman was just throwing it deep off the backboard, not calling back. It was like one of those tournament games that we've experienced in the past, right? I think the last was Syracuse scene. I know you brought up Buddy Buckets. So we were not rolling. North Carolina was rolling. Can you talk a little bit about that, Fiend? Because people were downplaying and talking trash about the Tar Heels coming in. They weren't supposed to be there, but they were actually playing really good ball.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a metrics perspective, I mean, they were playing like a top 15 team, the last month of the season. So, yeah, they were playing their best basketball at the right time. And I think they're good three-point shooters, but they're not that great, right? Like, they hit 14 to 24 on us. Syracuse hit 15 to 27. I don't know what it is about these 11 seeds from ACC that just absolutely catch fire at this, end of the year, and they crush us. I hope we never get matched up again with an 11 seed from the ACC. But this was like, it seemed to me like deja vu all over again with Buddy Buckets. But this time it was RJ Davis just killing us with the three-pointers. And, we couldn't find our shot. Suddenly they turned into a great defensive team. And it really, you could see the body language, like even in the first half, like we just looked defeated. That was not good body language, and very similar to 2021. They blitzed us and hit us, punched us so hard in the mouth that we were so stunned we didn't know what to do and we couldn't come back.
Nah, I'm gonna call him out on this. I hope he forgives me for it. But Andrew El Chino, oh boy, we were all watching the game together. Some equipment, bore the grunt of his ire when this team was not bouncing back against North Carolina. How about you, Mike? Did you how's Wiley, your dog, doing over there? You didn't kick the dog or anything during that game, right?
No, animal abuse is not allowed in this household. But the interesting thing is, yeah, you at some point I think we realize what's going to happen there. They just start hitting threes, and then RJ Davis hits from way outside, hits another from way outside, and you're just like, whatever, dude. Like, you know what I mean? If they keep going, you're like, hey, if they can miss a couple, we can get a couple buckets here and there. But they they started like 6 of 6, 7 of 7 or something,
Yeah.
like 7 of 9 for the first 3, and you're just like, we were tied 11-11. They went on a 22 run, and just what do you do? But the crazy thing is, Ole Miss did that to them, to North Carolina. Not as bad as they did to us, but Ole Miss did it to North Carolina. So it's like I always say, it's matchups and magic. Like, Ole Miss looks good. North Carolina looks like they could beat anybody, and then they get beat by Ole Miss. That one kid was just thrown. I mean, he just played well. Padula, I think. This tournament. This tournament, so it unfortunately you picked probably one of your worst games of the season. Well, I don't even know if it was one of your worst games of the season. It was probably North Carolina. It was something ridiculous, by the way. I think somebody posted. Let me find out who it was, because I think somebody posted this. It was Aztec Analytics. So no free shout outs, no plagiarism. The only team. So I guess there's 10,000 plus games played in the season. Does that sound about right, Fiend? Roughly
total, yeah.
North Carolina is the only team to shoot 52% field goals, 14 3-pointers made on at least 58% three-pointers, 21 free throws made on 87% free throw.
It's like a perfect game.
Yeah. Like it's what do you do? Like at some point you just nothing you could have done could have stopped them, because they were just playing their best game of the season. So
that's how we felt in 2021 against Syracuse. I mean, we had a great team back then.
Yeah.
Mitchell and Shackle and those guys, and
I mean, bummer. But say la vie, it is what it is, and now it's on to straight anarchy.
Would you rather get blown out like we did, or lose on a buzzer beater like Colorado State did?
Well, he traveled. First of all, that kid from Maryland traveled, but also, but Nico Clifford should have been thrown out early in the game with that elbow. Honestly,
yeah.
I mean, that was pretty. So it kind of, I think I'd rather get blown out. Honestly.
Me too.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's just because
I don't want to lose on a buzzer beater.
There's no hope. There's no hope, right?
No, man. I want to win at least one game in the tournament.
No, I do.
But that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the way you lose.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather just be blown out.
Yeah.
Nah, man. No, that was pure torture watching that North Carolina game. No, not at all. Because I could hang my hat on losing. A guy makes a shot, even though he was traveling, right? Whatever, debatable, whatever you want to say. I'll hang my hat on losing if the guy makes a shot. Hey, he made a shot. Nothing to hang your head about losing that ways. But that game against North Carolina, guys, and I know we're going to move on. I'm not going to sit here and whine about it, right? I got as much as I could out of that last week. That was not Aztec basketball. That was not up to the standard. And I was looking at Andrew like throwing his headphones down on the ground like, I wish I had that in me right now to do that. But it wasn't there. I was so defeated. I was deflated. I was numb watching that game. That was not Aztec basketball. It wasn't the fight that they should have had in that second half. They were down big at the half. It got bigger in the second half. Like, no. I don't care. Don't get me riled up, man. Don't get me riled up. Like, it's just – That's not the standard. That's not the standard.
I get it. But I think what he was asking personally, obviously we want our guys in it, but personally, it's like, to me, it's like at some point you're like, all right, man, there's just nothing. It's just, we can't do anything about it. It's more about Fiend and I and how we would take a loss instead of just getting beat at the buzzer. I mean, that's just me. Everybody's got their own way, but not everybody's got the same opinion.
Yeah. Okay, before we even get to the next topic, we got to thank Quinn showing up. Hey, thank you for being committed, Quinn. Your team is moving forward. CBM would have got thrown out if he threw that elbow. Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
Chad Baker Mazzara is dancing still. He's not throwing elbows, but if he did, he would have been escorted off of the court by security, by like 12 security people, because they got their eye on him. Thanks, Quinn. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Cheers. I'm pulling for Auburn. I really am.
Me too.
I got money down on Auburn. So, anyways, so guys, that it is what it is. No more ACC teams in the tournament, please. And what can you say about it? So, what you got, Mike?
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yes.
Well, are we transitioning to the portal after this?
Yeah.
I want to ask if you guys had to pick a team that you were going to put money on right now to win the Natty, who would it be of the 16 left?
Well, I do have money on Auburn, but I hedged my bets. I put some on Duke as well.
Yeah, I would probably take Duke. They
Mm.
probably are the best team right now. I'll give you a dark horse. Kentucky could be a dark horse with Lamont Butler. I mean, he's playing really well despite that shoulder injury. He's got that big wrap on his shoulder. You know, has the experience. The Final Four. They have an experienced team. They're playing really good basketball right now. They've got some shooters on that team. I could see them as a Final Four dark horse. Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Lamont. You know, we're going to get into the portal. And believe me, Lamont's year this year in Kentucky, I mean, it's all connected. It's all tied in. I know some people are feeling some kind of way. I'm sure there are some Aztec fans feeling some kind of way seeing Lamont in a third straight Sweet 16. But I will say this. Some of you dum-dums need to just zip it, because that dude gave us how many years here at State, hit the biggest shot in school history. I could say more.
Are people still mad at Lamont? Are people like bitter about it?
I don't know.
I guess 50. Some people are, right? Some
Can't
people
relate. Can't relate, dude.
No, I can't either. Like we talked about it. We talked about earlier today. Like how do you vilify a kid who came here 4 years, gave you 4 years, and he was able to take advantage of a COVID year that nobody else in the history of sport has had. Same thing with Keyshawn, right? Same thing with Micah. So yeah, I mean Lamont was great, man. Lamont got us to the Natty. I mean, he's to me, he's one of the best all around. I mean, he's probably one of the best defenders we've ever had. You know what I mean? Top 3 probably, you know, I think.
2-time defensive player.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's you know,
Yeah.
I mean, he's no Billy White. He's no Billy White. But yeah, I mean, man, like that you know, we were talking about too. Sport is such a different emotional connection and attachment to the team and the players, because obviously the players come and go, but you're attached to the jersey. But you feel like why are you leaving us? You know what I mean? So they had their chance to do something that nobody else had done, and they gave us 4 years, and they were able to take advantage of another one. I hope he does well. I hope he does well, and I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, I am too, and I have no ill will towards these guys that are leaving in the portal. I just hope if they make that decision, they do it early. Give us the time to recruit their replacement. Don't pull us, you know, I won't say his name, but you know, last second, you know, and jump in the portal last second. That really screws over your coaches and your teammates that you're leaving. And you know, so you know, if any of you guys are out there and they're thinking about jumping the portal, do it now. Like, don't do it at the last second. Hopefully, you guys are, you know, are committed, but we won't know until the portal closes. Right? You'll know who's committed to being an Aztec for next year when the portal closes, not a minute sooner. And so I'm not. It's sad. It's sad to see these guys go, but I understand the reasons why they're leaving. And hey, you know, we'll find other guys who want to be Aztecs.
Oh, Quinn, thank you again. It says, coming from a fan who's lost in heartbreaking fashion in the Final Four and a national championship in football, I'd rather be blown out. Hey, that's one man's opinion.
It's 3-1.
One man's opinion.
That's like 75%.
I feel so bad for those guys because they celebrated. They celebrated a win over Virginia, and they in the Final Four.
I remember that.
And they they went to what, Toomer's Corner, I think it's called, and they were all partying, whatever, you know, cheering and whatnot. And it was a foul. It was a foul on a 3-point shot, and they wound up losing the game. That's awful fashion, you know, to lose. And so no, I don't want to be on the losing end of one of those games. Like if I were like FAU in that Final Four, oh God, FAU fan, that would have ruined my Final Four. But we were on the other side of that, right? And how exhilarating and how awesome and how we'll remember that for the rest of our lives. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents on that.
Well said. Well said. Well, that's how it ended. I think that's a great transition time now to get into this portal. The tournament ended. But I will say this, Virginia suffered a very embarrassing loss the year prior to that, and then they end up winning it all. Right now, in order for the Aztecs to do that, they got to field themselves a roster because now things are all up in the air. 2 starters from the Aztecs decide to enter the portal. And like you said, Fiend, I think they took heed. I think everybody on this team has taken heed to last year's example and just showing respect for the staff and the program and the fans by doing it early. I mean, Miles Bird today announced, and you guys just told me before we went live, that he is entering in the NBA draft process, right? While holding on to his eligibility. He put it out really early, basically saying he's going pro or he's coming back to state. No portal for him. Now with Nick Boyd, we showed you guys the clip in his own words post game, and I did that intentionally, of course, right? I don't know if that got your blood boiling a little bit. It did mine a little bit, and like you guys say, man, these guys don't owe anybody anything. They don't owe us. They're not signing contracts with any of us fans personally. It's nothing like that. But when you give your word, okay, sometimes you will. Some people do use that as a contract, as a oath, as a man of their word. What we're seeing today, guys, in this day and age with the transfer portal, it's not so much the money that bothers me, because I do believe players have that right to capitalize off their NIL, name, image, and likeness. What you could talk about revenue sharing with the house settlement coming up very soon. All you want, how you feel about that is how you feel about that. But as far as NIL goes, absolutely. Every person on this earth deserves to monetize off of their name, their image, or their likeness, no matter what you do in life. But if you give your word, you're coming back. Those are the areas that I have the biggest problem with, because then it's not about the money. It's about what? Integrity, as I like to say. And Nick Boyd was a great Aztec this year. I mean, he was arguably the most productive offensive player on the squad. Came here from FAU, which I scratched my head at. I mean, you lose to us in the Final Four, and then you decide to come join ranks. I was very impressed. I didn't understand it, but I was incredibly impressed. Carried himself very well. And, it's nothing personal, but that was out of left field. I mean, you heard Coach Dutcher today on 760. That was a shocker. Now, it's not irreplaceable, but it's a shocker. Now, Magoon Guath soon followed. DeMarshe Johnson also followed. Of course, he's got that extra last year. Mike, should I ask you to give me the silver lining to these dark clouds? Because these are 2 starters. Are you ready for that yet, or do you want to just talk a little bit about
that, man? I'm always ready to be ready.
Man. I mean, hey, how did you feel about Boyd leaving? Is that even a issue with you?
It was unique. I mean, I am. That was. I was like, oh. I saw the thing pop up, the headline, and I was like, okay, Magoon, right? Magoon. And that was him. And I'm like, well, he just said he was coming back. Everybody's got a right to change their mind. I don't have a problem with that. It just was like, and I think, he's a great dude. And he has every right to do whatever he wants to do. Honestly, he gave us a great year. To me, that is our bridge to Reese. Him coming here was a blessing, because Reese was, unbeknownst to anybody, hurt the whole year. So we're kind of getting a transfer in with Reese back. I think he'll pick up that production. I think that'll be similar. I don't know if it'll be like kind of quality, but it's gonna be very similar. So it's kind of like a net zero to me on that one. Magoon leaving, I mean, I think everybody kind of knew that. Again, he's got every right to choose whatever he wants. If you flip the coin and be devil's advocate, it is a little unsettling to nobody wanted you, 0-star prospect, we take a chance on you. We bring you in, surgery, we rehab you, you go up. You know, it was like, all right, man. Well, you had one good year, and then I just felt like he owed us one more, but he didn't know anything. But personally, I was like, man, you kind of were where you are, but you still have a chance to go do whatever you need to do. So I can't blame him for that. But I think that gives an opportunity for Majik to come in. If I'm saying his name wrong, I'm sorry. But like for him, Majak to, hey man, here you go. This is your opportunity. He's not in the way. He was gonna play behind Magoon anyways, right? So now that hurdle is not in the way, and he learned from him from a year. He's gonna be hopefully a little bit bigger next year and get some muscle. But there, and the other thing too is we're not used to this. We've been in the Sweet 16 the last couple of years, so we've got started late. So now we start 2 weeks earlier, even though you don't want to. Guys are not playing another couple weeks and then taking a week to think about, hey, we got to come over to the loss in the Sweet 16, and then we got to do. I mean, like the Final Four the year before, it was obviously early April. So you get a chance to start earlier with the knowledge of what you learned the 2 years before in the portal, the NIL, how everything works. And you can kind of maybe get a different, like we've talked about last year. Remember, hey, you're going to miss out on this guy if you keep playing, right? I feel like that was a conversation we had. Now you get experience and then another opportunity to start early, start from a spot where it's Dutch. Like the guys, he just wins. He finds it. We lost 90% of our production from last year, and we still made the tourney. 5 in a row, 6 in a row, 21 plus straight wins. I mean, our coaching staff knows how to recruit, and they just have to do it more often now. And I feel like the more often you do it, you don't want to in this situation, you just get better. And guys are like, hey, these guys, so those are the kind of things, and it gives everybody else an opportunity to kind of craft their game from Nick, play against him and Magoon and get better, take those lessons you learn from them in practice and apply them to next year. And everybody's got another year of knowledge under their belt, another experience, so if you can't always look at the bad. You got to realize, hey, this maybe this happened to get, you can't give up the good to get the great kind of thing.
Fiend, before I pass it on over you, I just want to shout out the chat. Thank you guys for joining us. I see it blowing up. Everybody's, they're super invested in this program. I see you, Rick. I see you, Sergio. Of course, JK, Joey Zyber. What's going on? Bryant Thursby, was good to have you in here, man. So, we got a lot of regulars in here. Appreciate you guys rocking with us this whole season and now coming into the off season. I think we needed that time off to just kind of get ourselves a little more positive. And I like these positive points, Mike. It's a way that you kind of have to look, right? Because Dutcher went on the radio today, like, okay, I love John when he was saying, it's like, dude, the program's not going away. Like we're talking about a coach here who has all this experience, like, and even you could hear coach, he's like, we know we're good at what we're doing. Like we know how good we've done. Like we know what we're doing. Like we got a shirt, in Dutch we trust. Yeah. That doesn't change. It doesn't change.
And with Nick leaving suddenly, you have to reference Elijah. Now it's different timing, but you have that kind of
surprise
information. You've seen it before. Yeah. And stuff like that. And so it's, to me, it's, if you can find whatever you're looking for. If you want to find the bad, you're going to find it. You're going to find the good, you're going to find it. You know what I mean? I just choose to look at the good. If you look around, there's signs everywhere. You just got to, it's like, like I'm a religious awakening right here. You know what I mean? But like, just look for the good and you'll find the good. That's.
Do you want the flip side of that?
Oh,
yeah, of course. Yes, of course. Yes.
You want the other side of the coin?
I saw that.
Okay, Fiend. All right.
Yeah, I want to flip.
Let it go.
Well, for people watching this show, or if you're listening to this podcast, I got this shirt on. It says "Got Waters." Hell if I know. He said he's coming back. All these people, we expect to come back. Again, we don't know until that portal closes. Money changes a lot. A lot of decisions. It has a lot of power, and so we are not going to know until that portal closes who is coming back to the Aztecs. I don't care if they've said I'm going pro, or I'm coming back to the Aztecs, or I'm definitely coming back. We don't know. Okay, so I'm not really talking about any of these guys for next year because I don't really know. I don't know if Majak's coming back. I don't know if Reese is coming back. I don't know if Bert is coming back, or BJ, or Taj, or Compton, or any of those guys.
We don't buy into the hyperbole on Sons of Montezuma most times. Okay, so any comments or things said on tonight's show cannot be held against sonsofmontezuma.com or whatever.
Hey, that's the reality of it. This is it's the portal is it's not friendly. It's business. It's not personal. It's business.
We're not the only ones that.
It's an evil world.
What did I say to you? There was how many in the first 2 days? 500 plus players or something like that. We're not the only ones.
At least we're not New Mexico right now. They lost their coach. They lost Dent. They lost True Washington.
Damn.
They got a bunch of guys. They don't even know who's going to coach him next year. Who else is jumping in the portal? Right?
Yeah, I mean
that's a horrible situation to be in right now.
Yeah, and now they got to find a coach too. Knock me off of my feet.
And I'm not dunking on them. Like I honestly, I feel for them. Like if that happened to us, I'd be gutted. Dutch left and the whole roster left, I'd be absolutely gutted. So my heart goes out to those guys. That's terrible because we saw the last couple of years, the New Mexico fans, how they show up, they show out at the Mountain West Conference, and they're a very proud fan base. And for them to be, having this transition, this change again that they've had so often over the past 10, 15 years with coaches jump into greener pastures, or coaching hires not working out. That's really, really a tough situation. So I'm going to bring it back to the positive side, right?
I love that.
Bring it back to positive because I am a positive guy. I know you guys think I'm negative, but the continuity in the coaching staff that we have had absolutely makes this program to go from Fisher to Dutcher to whoever's next in line. That is what makes our program. The players, yes, we need great players to come in and play, but the coaching staff, the infrastructure, just the system that we have is what keeps this thing going.
I agree. I was going to say the same thing. It's the continuity of the coaches, 25 plus years, and that's what we have that nobody else has. Yeah. Like I talked to these guys up here. Anybody we talk to, for the most part, hey, our Nico Medved just left, so that's another opening. You don't have that. You don't have that worry because of the consistency, and that's one less thing to worry about. And you know what you get every year. With those other teams, they have no idea. What is New Mexico going to get? What's Colorado State? Who's going to get? I mean, hey, how about Tim Shelton being the head coach? That'd be neat, right? But yeah, I 100% agree with you, man. Like that's what I was going to say. That if you didn't say it, is the continuity of the coaching staff and the program, for a quarter of a century now.
Yeah,
how many? I don't know if there's any. I mean, Mark Few, but other than that, not really anybody, right?
Well, Leon Rice, at Boise State, so he's been there a while, and so they've had some continuity and they've won. They've had consistently good teams. They haven't had a lot of up and down because they've had a good coach in place. And so, Utah State's got to be breathing a sigh of relief that they didn't lose their coach for the third straight year. He signed an extension, so good for him.
Insane.
And good for them, but yeah, these other programs. I think it hurts the Mountain West. When you lose a Medved, you lose a Patino. Those are good coaches, and they were bringing in really good players. So, who knows? Who they're going to hire, and hopefully they have good hires that they can bring in some quality guys. But I could see the Mountain West having a couple of down years while we're going to be moving to the Pac-12, but some of these teams might have a couple of down years because of the rebuild.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get on my soapbox just a little bit, though, because you guys are just bringing a lot of things that's kind of flooding my mind about our own program. And, of course, we're very prideful, right? San Diego State Aztec fans have a right to be boastful, to be prideful more than anything, not so much boastful, right? But, to see where this program has come to where it is now. We talk about it often. You know, how can you not point out it all starting with Coach Fisher, the humble beginnings of building Viejas, to where now the legacy is passed over to Dutcher and so on and so forth. The culture, the players coming back to really ingrain themselves with the younger guys, the new guys coming up, that talk of brotherhood. All those things are very real things. It's a family atmosphere. You hear Coach Dutcher and many of the other coaches in different programs talk about that. And so I think that's what, Aztec fans, sometimes it could come across like a little spoiled, right? But no, I don't think so, man. I think for crying out loud, we lost the Chargers. The Padres have been terrible for most of their existence. San Diego State was in that same position in basketball, and now they've turned it around. So I think that's what hurts the most when you see somebody like a Magoon decide to leave, which we all had those feelers like it was gonna happen. It was inevitable. I mean, he was such a bigger physical presence than what we've seen in many years. So it's one of those things where I feel bad that he's gonna miss out on that. And I get it. I might sound naive a little bit, right? I mean, the reports are upwards of $1 million or maybe more to go somewhere else. According to my sources, he wanted to stay. And see, maybe that's naive of me just taking that in and being like, okay, wow, he wanted to stay. But when I hear that, and when I know that it's the money that is luring players away from where they really want to be or where they would prefer to be, with their brothers playing. I just hope that, these players, no matter who it is, I mean, Mountain West has so many players in the portal. It's ridiculous. But especially San Diego State with what they've been able to build, the culture, like they're not going to be able to come back and enjoy that and really be a part of that for the rest of their lives. I mean, you do things for money, and I could talk about it. I've been in business for my whole life. Like sometimes you take on, ventures or things, and if it's just strictly money motivated, the payoff is not worth it most of the time. It's just not. And we know what we have something special here at State. And it's just a shame that young people are being forced to deal with these decisions that are being talked to them by adults. It's like those high school, college years are so important to just your outlook on life moving forward. Now, I'm not saying any of this as a warning or anything like that, but it's just, it's just a bummer. It's a bummer to know that those years are not going to be spent, okay, maybe not going to be spent, but there's a potential that those, I just hope he looks back and is proud on the decisions he's made and things work out. And I'm sure they will. But it's just unfortunate to me. It's a bummer to me that it has to be made at this point. All right.
Yeah. There definitely is a risk there. And I'll go back to our interview when we had Jamal Franklin on, and he talked about, this is a guy who went to, was drafted into the NBA, went to China, made millions of dollars, in China. But he talks so fondly about the time that he had with his brothers at San Diego State, hanging out all the time, doing stuff. That's some of his fondest memories, and there is something special that you can't put a money value on, that, if you just strictly go pro, you're not going to get that experience. Maybe you get that at another college. I don't know, but it's pretty special, the bond that these players have with each other, that they have with the coaches, that they have with the community. It is special. And I don't, that is something that like 10, 15 years down the road, they may say, damn, I wish I had stayed another year at State. That was the best year of my life, so we'll see. But, hindsight's only, is 2020. And unfortunately, some of these kids, they're not making their decisions for them. They're really being guided by adults and, people who have influence. And there's nothing wrong, with taking direction from others and whatnot. But Yeah, you just hope that they don't look back on the experience, on what happened and said, man, I wish I had been another year at State. That I love San Diego State, and I wish I had never left.
And Mike, before you jump on, just let me be clear. I mean, that this is no hate whatsoever. I mean, we were fortunate enough to have Magoon work with us on NIL. Like, that's an honor for me to be a part of that. Like, to see his family wearing the merch and stuff. Like, dude, that made my season. Like, I love that stuff. But like I said, it's just, how do you say, life-changing money? Yes, I get it. Mike,
Yeah, I mean, well, as you get older, it's the things you don't regret, the things you did, you regret the things you didn't do.
Yeah.
Right. Like so I didn't do, why didn't I didn't take this trip? Why did I do that? So, the allure of the tangibility of the money is right in front of you. The intangibility of the memories that you don't really understand as you get older. Like the money's there, you're good. But then you're kind of like, yeah, one more year with my guys, I could have. I mean, Magoon's probably gonna still make a ton of money even if he stayed one more year and left. I mean, let's be honest. But that was his decision. So you can't fault someone for making a decision. They don't owe you anything. That's their life. It's their journey. So, but yeah, I mean, it's like, do you guys ever fantasize? Oh, if someone gave you $1 million check, what would I do with it? Do you guys ever have like fantasies like that? Like, you think of stuff that probably, knock on wood, will never happen, but that's part of life. Is
I give it to Mesa Foundation.
Well, I like, okay, so I like what DJ Dub says here. He says, don't hate the player, hate the game. And believe me, I have that mindset completely. I embrace that completely because I think it's the structure. And that's where the adults have done a disservice to our young people, right? They set up this environment that, one, is not sustainable. Like, it's just the Wild West. I mean, believe me, I hear certain things, and I mean, not every adult is happy in the room with what's going on here. Most people aren't happy with this situation. Not against the individuals making their money, but there's got to be some type of a structure. Otherwise, it's just pro sports, and then you open a whole can of other worms.
Yeah, it's just free agency. They're not. Hey, we're gonna give you $3 million, and it's like, I wonder what the percentage of these guys doing anything to earn that money except playing basketball, like going out. That's the thing is, our guys go out into the community multiple times. And
shout out to Mesa. Shout out to Mesa Foundation.
Mesa is great, and each structure of each program is different. And the intimate, the smallness.
Intimacy. You can say it, Mike. Intimacy.
Intimacy. There you go. Intimacy. Sorry. Jeez. Of the program is just that they're out doing stuff together. I haven't seen them at events, but I think you guys have, and they look like they're having a good time interacting with people, the food drives and things like that. So, yeah, it's life-changing money, but you can't buy memories. But those are things you learn later in life that you don't understand. Hey, a 19-year-old kid's gonna get $1 million. I mean, would you want? Yeah, 100%. I'm out. Right at 19, I'm out. I'm taking it. So I don't know, man. It's different, but NIL became free agency. Hey, here's $3 million. Come to our school.
Yeah,
like that's just buying a player to come, and then you're like Tanjay transferred twice. Like, remember, you had to sit out. Like, they need that. I know the COVID. I think hopefully the COVID is over, the COVID year, and they only have 4 years again. But they have to put some sort of structure of, you can only, if you take NIL money, you can only transfer once or twice or whatever. I'm just throwing it, once. Because twice
or have transfer fees for the lower schools for developing the players, just like they do in soccer.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. They got to do something. They have to do something. They don't have to do everything, but they got to do something incrementally of like, hey, we're going to do this year, and maybe one other thing, and see how it happens and how it affects it. Because you don't know until you implement it, and there's unintended consequences that you're just like, oh, and this is probably one of them. Like, I don't know if they thought of it like this.
See, I'm a cynical thinker, guys. I'm a cynical thinker, right? Nothing is done without any kind of oversight or any kind of provision on how this is going to affect everyone involved, right? I'm a cynical thinker, man. The powers that be want this madness. They want this chaos. It's the same thing like with conference expansion, right? It's the haves and the have-nots. the ones in power that are making that money and have the control don't want the St. Francis's of, D1 to be dead weight. And that's why they're going to D3, because they're a religious institution, right? Their focus is not on dollars and generating billions and millions of dollars for NIL. Like, their mission is to educate and to, raise up leaders and play some basketball while you're at school. So it's just, I'm saying all this because it's like these power schools want things to shake out how they are shaking out. If it's going to cause a little chaos, that's how you're going to get your change. That's how you're going to get your tangible change economically for these universities that you're not up to it. If you can't generate up to this point, goodbye. And that's just the reality of it. That's just the reality of it. But that's my cynical thinking, Fiend.
Yeah, I mean, and think about all the other sports that are going to get cut because of, the money that's going towards NIL that schools are having to fund and all of that, and all the Olympic sports are, it's going to be a lot of cuts. I mean, a lot of cuts, and just the whole the conference expansion. I mean, it's so ridiculous. These teams from the West Coast having to go to the East Coast to play conference games back and forth, and it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
Well, this is the reality, guys, so we can't whine about it too much on this episode. We've got a little bit of time left before we sign off, but we're in it, whether we like it or not. We're all in the portal, right? I see some fans saying, I'm not going to support anymore, I'm not watching anymore. And listen, that's your right to do what you do with your time, with your money. It's completely your right. But we're in the portal, guys, and I'm grateful for the guys that are here. I'm grateful for the players that, the opportunity is here with San Diego State, and I think those guys need to be held up. They need to be held up to that standard, for those bright lights, for their opportunity, like Mike says. But Fiend, the reality is we got the same heartache that we're feeling. We're gonna have to do that to somebody else, and that's just the nature of the circle of the transfer portal life. So,
hey, the big dogs eat, and then the medium dogs eat, and then the little dogs eat. So that's just the way it works, Yeah.
So who do you have your eyes on, Fiend? Because I know you do your digging in the crates, man. Who do you think this Aztec team should be setting their sights on?
Well, I mean, obviously it depends on who comes back, right? Because we have no idea who's coming back for sure until the portal closes. But if you just go based on the holes, the spots that we have to fill, I would think that we need a point guard that is similar to Nick Boyd, who can really get downhill, get to the bucket. Our other guards are pretty good ball handlers, and they can move the ball around, but I don't think they have that quick burst like Boyd did. Boyd was, and hey, let's face it, he carried us at the end of the season with and his ability to get easy baskets. When I mean easy baskets, I mean layups. And AM ones, and I don't really see that on the roster right now. So that is an area I would love to address. One guy who jumped in the portal today that I absolutely love, and I think he would be great in a lead guard spot. I knew he played 6-man and a lot of off ball. And he was okay in those situations, but when you put him on the ball, he's just so electric and such burst, and he can also hit it from the outside. And that's Latrell Davis from San Jose State. That would be one guy that I would target in the portal. You definitely need an outside shooter who's a knockdown shooter. One interesting guy in the portal is Aiden Mahaney from UConn. He was at St. Mary's, went to UConn, jumped in the portal. He's like best friends with Miles Bird, so maybe Miles Bird can have some influence on getting him to San Diego State. That guy, I'm not sure if he shot the ball really well last year, but he's a really good outside shooter. I mean, he can shoot. He's proven he can shoot like over 40%. I think we need a guy like that. someone who can knock down shots on the outside consistently. We're getting Waters back, assuming he comes back, and BJ Davis. BJ came, was really good beginning of the season, kind of tapered off at the end. And Reese, we know, can shoot from the outside too. But I think our 3-point percentage needs to go up. We need to have better shooting next year. The other thing is on the boards. We got killed on the boards all year long. It was a weakness for us all year long. And so I think, any, monsters on the rebound, I don't really even care if they can really shoot it from the outside much, if they don't stretch the floor that much. I just want a guy who just tears down every rebound. I don't know, I'm not exactly sure. There's one guy that I really like in the portal. I don't know if we'll get him or if we're recruiting him. But Jamichael Stillwell from UW Milwaukee. If you watch tape of that guy, he is a monster on the board. He reminds me a lot of Kashad Johnson. And just, the length, being able to move. Doesn't shoot it great from the outside, but he just tears down everything. But that guy's getting a lot of big time interest from big time programs. I don't know if we have the money, for him. So those are probably three guys that I would look at. I think the ones that we have interest in right now, I'll just list them off. Anquan Bolden Jr., the son of the football star Anquan Bolden, is from Buffalo. He's a guard. Jaden Young, guard from Virginia Tech. Paul Jobet, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's a guard from Miami. And then Dre Bullock, a guard from South Dakota. These are all players in the portal who have said that SDSU has contacted them. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I'm sure that we're going to get some quality guys in to replace the ones that we've lost and keep developing the guys that we brought in, this last year and the year before, so we can get back to the big dance.
Now, Fiend, I want to say what's up to Joey Zyber. If you guys have not seen Joey's article he wrote for us, definitely check that out. He asked a question: "As Fiends, have you seen the 7-footer from Santa Clara? Does that ring a bell to you, dude?"
I have not, but I will tell you this: that the Santa Clara has a bunch of players in the portal who are really efficient. If you look at Evan Maya's stats for transfer portal players, he ranks the offensive, defensive efficiency. They have a bunch really high. So it does not surprise me that Santa Clara has some quality players that, maybe we should take a look at. I don't know if I haven't watched any Santa Clara games, so I can't say that I know anything about them, but would be nice to have 2 7-footers. If Majak comes back and we get another 7-footer, man, we'd be like that team from Michigan. Michigan's got 2 7-footers. They were a problem for UCSD in that game, and they're really, that would be nice luxury to have.
What was that, Bucky or Tilly? I don't remember who you guys were talking about. The 7-footer Santa Clara. Those are the only two I see. Bucky and Tilly. I don't know.
You know who I'd love to have? I don't think it's gonna happen, or might not. Is how great would Nelly Jr. Joseph fit into our front court?
He doesn't have any eligibility left.
Well, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, so
I like
sorry.
him. He rebounds like a monster.
No,
man.
I know, and that's what I mean. We need a guy like that. You need a guy like that who's just gonna tear down every board. He's gonna clean the glass. We didn't have that last year, and I think they tried to recruit some guys that were, really good rebounders, but it just didn't work out for whatever reason, and that was just a problem area for us all year long. That, free throws, and 3-point shooting.
Well, it's still really early. I mean, geez, the portal's been open for 1 day, yesterday and today, 2 days, and it's like record amount of people in the portal. So
and then you look at that, it's like everybody's gonna get paid. Everybody's gonna what percentage of those 500-600 are gonna get $1 million plus?
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I can't. Not all of them. Like maybe
There's going to be a Dutcher said it on, I think, on the John and Jim show, that there is going to be a lot of players who jump in the portal that had a scholarship that will end up with no scholarship.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it.
Risk you take.
Yeah.
And that's those are things in life. Those are life lessons. Those are just life lessons you learn along the way. They're just at a bigger scale and a more public scale than the stuff we had to go through as growing up. You know what I mean? Like they don't. Nobody magnified our decisions except our parents. But now you have everybody. Three of us on a podcast plus whoever's listening. Look at Twitter. It's crazy, man. it's like I scroll through it, and there's always going to be somebody who has the same viewpoint as you. So you don't really need to text. Post. Oh yeah, cool. There you go. Because we've all posted, and then you just get in some idiotic back and forth that you're just like, this is stupid. But like it's, to me with this team is pressure is a privilege. It means that things are expected of you.
Yeah.
And San Diego State is expected to be a good basketball team year in, year out. We have been. And I think you have to embrace that privilege to have, and we're lucky to have it, man. Like we don't get it that often, and so you have to embrace it. And we're like everybody else, it just hurts more because of the what we thought we would have if everybody came back next year and more experience and that team together. You add Reese, you add the kid Simmons. You'll never know what it was, but the expectation, like everybody, even before the season over, was like, dude, next year, right? You could hear it drum. It get bigger all the time, and we're guilty of it, and we don't give the kids who are here the credit they deserve for being here and busting their ass and playing for us. Yeah, we can be disappointed that they left. They gave us their all for the time they were here, and unfortunately, they're going to give somebody else their all somewhere else, and so. It's life.
Well said, sir. Well, sir. On that note, man, should we let you handle your duties?
Dude,
or you good to rock with us?
Well, it's spring break, so I probably have a little bit. But you guys talking about something else?
Okay, no, man. I just wanted to keep it moving, man. Just wanted to make sure. Thank you, JK. He says, "Do you think the NCAA will make changes to the portal madness in the next few years?" I think they will, but the NCAA, unfortunately, they're kind of at the whim of the courts with the house settlement, right? And then NIL is kind of playing off of that as well. So, all this stuff in litigation, you got to let those things pan out and then see what you got, see how you can adjust. NCAA may not have any power. I'm not sure. I mean, they have to do what they do within their purview, but the courts are going to dictate, a lot of that.
I think the courts are going to dictate the law, but they can't necessarily dictate the time. Like the timeline, you can still have the same situation. The dates move. I don't well, how about the kid from Michigan? They're in the Sweet 16 and he already declared for the portal. Do you get to play? Do you not play? Like your teammates like, bro, like what? Really?
Yeah.
And then a kid from wherever, he jumped to the portal 12 minutes after this team lost. I don't know who it was, but I was reading something like that. So, I mean, hey, this is the new, man. But you got to put dates on it.
And the tough part is nobody's going to be completely happy. If the NCAA, grows a spine and steps in and says, okay, we're going to regulate these type of restrictions that will line up with the court's rulings and all that type of stuff, somebody's still not going to be happy. They're going to be upset and it's not going to be perfect. Basically, it's not going to be perfect.
Nothing ever is. Yeah.
No.
But
I think it might make it a little easier to get some rules if you make them employees and you have maybe a union and kind of similar model to a pro model.
Yeah. But the question in the next few years, I would expect there to be something. I would put my money on maybe 2 years, 3 years, something around that mark. But hey, that's just me spitballing.
We'll find out. Yeah.
Well, it's definitely killing Cinderella. I mean, there were no. I mean, almost had one with Colorado State. So almost had that run. They don't have a ton of NIL, and they were able to to make a run almost to Sweet 16 if it weren't for a walk. But I think by and large you're going to see more chalk tournaments and just a consolidation of talent due to this, the money. But Dutch brought up a really good point today that there's teams like Washington, they paid their coach a ton of money. They paid Greg Osobor $2 million, and they finished last in the Big Ten. So just because you throw money, look at Indiana. Indiana, they throw money at their players, and they have a big war chest. They can't even make the tournament. But their counterpart, I think Purdue, doesn't have nearly as much money from NIL, and they're able to get Sweet 16 and national championship games. So it doesn't guarantee success. It can help because you can stockpile talent, but then you need the coaching to be able to put that together to translate to wins.
I like Larry Joe, what he says. It's not just guys looking to get paid. They're looking for opportunity. At the end of the day, it's really all about opportunity to play or opportunity to get paid. And sometimes you can get both, like Osobor did up there in Washington, but it still didn't pan out. It didn't pan out. It's in that same interview. I love listening to Dutch anytime he talks, man. He just gives you a straight shooter response. He says there's always going to be teams out there, like you said, with all those things that come together. But people got to recognize when we went to the Final Four, there were COVID years involved. There were super senior seasons. That was a mature team.
And we got some luck along the way.
We got some luck. And you need that. You got to have it if you want to get to the championship game. You need a little bit of luck. So it's just going to be that much more difficult. It really is. It's just going to be that much more difficult.
I'm going to jump off here in a minute, but my final thing is the coaching staff has seen it before. They've experienced, they know how to handle it now. They have more money than they had the last few years. They have 4 or 5 scholarships that are open up, right? So this is is it like the 3rd year of NIL or 4th? Whatever it is.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, but in its current insanity format, like the last couple of years, it's kind of gotten crazy every year. But to me, you start earlier, you start with more experience, you have more funds at your disposal, I guess. And, you can, as a good coach, this is why he's a good coach. He adapts and he gets better and he changes instead of not, you have to do that in life. If you figure out hey, this has happened to me. I can't do anything about it, but how do I work with it or work around it or however you want to put it? So this is what we're here for. This is what we're fans for. 25 years of stability, 25 years of experience, and a great program, man.
All right, Mike, you all good, man? You all squared away? You get it on? You get it on?
Yeah, hey, I don't know when we'll talk again, but hey, on the podcast, but hey, man, I'm excited about next year. I hope Bird comes back. I hope he does well.
Man.
Everything, but I hope he comes back. And he's true to his word. He said, hey, I'm either going to the NBA or I'm coming back to San Diego State. So
yeah,
I hope he succeeds wherever he goes. Selfishly, I hope he's back because I think that'll be great. So, but hey, go Aztecs.
When the clock strikes midnight on the last day of the portal, then we will
sleep. Fee won't sleep for 2 months. He's not going to be asleep.
I'll sleep just fine.
On coffee and Ritalin. And so, all right. Hey, go Aztecs. Good to see you guys. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, buddy.
Later.
See you later, Bubba.
Bye.
Fiend, you down to spend a couple more minutes with me real quick?
Sure.
All right. Before we get into some of you guys' comments, because I do want to get into some of them more, I just want to remind you guys to check out the Spitballers. They are our newest podcast team. They are bringing you all the SDSU baseball and softball coverage. Sean and John, I've known these guys. They've been a part of the crew for a little while now, ever since back the COVID days. I remember Sean cruising.
Oh, they're stealing my look.
Yeah. Oh, wait. These are the baseball shades. He got the flip downs, dude. He's got the flip downs. Pretty sweet. But they're both former players. They know their stuff. They're both Aztecs for life, and I really enjoy their commentary on the games, man. Softball and baseball. So that's really
cool.
I
listen to some of it. It's good. They're very insightful and knowledgeable. Definitely.
They have fun.
Yeah.
We got a couple other things coming down the pike, Fiend. Stuff that I haven't even really told anybody yet. So hey,
can't wait.
Sons of Montezuma. It spreads. Okay, guys, I just want to get to some of your guys' comments that I've been trying to Star down in the chat. Thank you guys for being so patient with us, and we're all hyped up. I know it's the off season. We want to see some things happen this off season, but got to take it one day at a time. Larry Joe from earlier, he says Heidi took a big step towards the end of the season. I'm excited to see him continue to grow and get better for next season. I think that brings up a good point, Fiend, because the constant mindset is to look out into the portal, look out what's out there, right? The players do it, fans, we do it. But the coaches, they know what they have in the cupboard. They've talked all year long about how talented and deep and young this team was and is. And now, I mean, okay, Heidi's going to be coming into his junior season? You come into your junior season, the expectations grow even more. And I think we saw some really good action from him, some aggressiveness, some offensive rebounding was his thing, right? We've spent a considerable amount of time talking about Heidi, but it just brings up a point about the other guys that are here, man. And like you said, Fiend, they're here for now, right? They're here for now. But I really want to highlight, Taj, Pharaoh, BJ. There was a lot of speculation if BJ was going to be here, and I think that opportunity is big for him now. How do you look at these other pieces coming up? Because I'm excited about these young guys. This next year, this experience, I think is going to pay off big coming into next year.
Yeah, if they stick around, definitely. I mean, they're just going to get better and better. I mean, with another year of experience, I think with Taj, the game is going to slow down for him a bit, and be able to process, what's going on the court quicker and be able to move the ball faster. There's times where he looked like he was just kind of trying to figure it out, and the ball would just kind of stick a little bit. So we'd like to see him speed up that mental processing and really get the ball moving around, and Pharaoh just continue to work on his offensive game, work on his rebounding, work on his rebounding technique. I think that needs some refinement there. Really need to be that dog that we talked about during the season. With Heidi being able to finish with both hands. I noticed late in the season that teams were favoring him to his right shoulder when they're guarding him because they knew he was going left. So you got to counter that with being able to finish with your right as well. So those are things he needs to work on, expand that outside shot. We did see him hit that 1 3-pointer. He's not known as an outside shooter, but he's got to continue to work on that so he can stretch the floor when he's out there. So yeah, the young guys, BJ just getting more consistent, knocking down the shots, from the outside. I think he could be one of our best spot up shooters. So just continuing to develop in that area, and he's excellent on the defensive end as well. He's one of our primary lockdown defenders, and did a really good job guarding some of the best players on the other team. So with the development of those guys over the summer, continuing to work, continuing to put up shots, getting together for the summer workouts and then into the fall, we definitely should expect some improvement, with those guys, with their games and the development and just the cohesiveness playing together for another year. That's a big thing too. We didn't have the continuity coming into last year. There were so many new pieces. And so it was actually surprising why we played so well in November. You'd expect a young team to not play that well and then develop throughout the season. So the consistency, that's the big thing for this team. So young, got to get more consistent. And it's going to be great to have a more experienced team this year than we had last year.
I hope Swish is a big part of that for the guys. That'd be so
me too.
much fun. I mean, yes, the season ended on a sour note, but how do you say it? Boyd said it best. He really did say it best in that clip. If you're not coming back this summer with a fire inside of you to get better, you don't love basketball. Funny how those words.
That's what we do. That's what we do. We work.
Yeah. And there's got to be that chip on the shoulder. I know in the NBA game, guys are making money. Everybody's got business dealings. It's like I miss those days of that competitive fire that you don't necessarily see on the court every single day in the NBA. And to a lesser degree, right, in college, there's got to be that level of competition, that chip on the shoulder. I know everybody's still brothers at the end of the day, but this team, this roster that's going to be moving forward on this Aztecs team, I mean, you got to have a chip on your shoulder after everything that's shaken out to this point to prove people wrong, to prove that you can do it in this uniform on this stage with this team. So I hope Swish is a big part of that because, man, the build up for next year, people are going to be looking for some retribution.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I hope we get North Carolina again too at some point. Just not in the tournament as an 11 seed.
Oh man. Okay, so before we sign off, because it's getting late, Mountain West, New Mexico coach gone to Xavier. Is that true? Now they lost
Yep.
two to the transfer portal. You think those guys are Donovan and who was it?
True Washington.
Washington. You think they're going with Coach?
They could. I mean, I could see Dent, following Lamont Butler to Kentucky. Both they know each other from the Inland Empire. They're their families know each other really well. I could definitely see him going to Kentucky. Lamont's last year, right? It'd be natural to have one of the best point guards coming back in the country and Donovan Dent to take the reins there. It wouldn't surprise me. Or him going to Xavier. I could see him doing that as well.
Okay. Well, Mountain West is going to look very different, and we're just starting in this transfer portal off season. Guys, I want to thank you all for joining the live tonight. We're going to wrap things up. It's been a long one. I appreciate Fiend sticking around a couple extra minutes. But, there's a lot more to come. So we'll keep tuned as much as possible in the near future. And we'll see, man. Some things may call our attention to get back on this thing. So we'll see. Until next time, guys, everybody have a safe night. And, what can you say? sonsofmontezuma.com.
Expect the unexpected. Don't worry. Be happy. Go Aztecs.
All right. You guys heard it there. Go Aztecs. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you and have a good night. See y'all.